Ah, life. Such a magnificent jigsaw of chaos and calm, isn't it? Yet here you are, stuck in a corner, whispering to yourself, "This is my lot, I can't escape it," but why? Who told you that your surroundings are your ruler? Oh, you think you're caged by circumstances? Let me tell you something, cages aren't made of steel, they're made of steel, they're made of fear, doubt, and the stories you repeat in your mind. Now, picture this, what if I told you that those very chains holding you down could be turned into weapons? Yes, weapons to shatter limitations, to redefine who you are, and to become someone the world can't ignore. Stick around, because today we're going to ignite that fire within you, the one buried under ashes of self-pity and defeat. By the end of this, you won't just hear my words, you'll feel them clawing at your soul, demanding action. Ah, the power of choice, a concept so simple, yet so profoundly misunderstood. People often assume that their circumstances dictate every aspect of their lives, as though they are mere puppets in a play, controlled by strings they cannot see or touch. But what if I told you the truth? What if I told you that, no matter how grim your situation seems, you always have a choice? Not just the small, fleeting decisions of day-to-day existence, but the grand, life-altering power to shape your destiny. The idea may seem far-fetched, especially if you feel trapped in a relentless cycle of limitations. But let me explain why this power is as real as the air you breathe. Choice is not about what happens to you. It is about how you respond to what happens to you. Life, after all, is unpredictable. It will throw storms your way, sometimes without warning. But here's the thing, storms don't last forever. What matters is whether you choose to be the tree that bends with the wind and survives, or the one that breaks under the pressure. The difference lies in the choice you make in the moment of impact. Will you crumble, or will you stand your ground and adapt? It's easy to believe that choice is reserved for the fortunate, those born into privilege or gifted with opportunity. But history tells us otherwise. The most extraordinary people often emerge from the most challenging circumstances. Why? Because they understand that choice is not a privilege, it is a responsibility. When life places you in the darkest of tunnels, the decision to take even a single step forward is yours. No one else can make that choice for you. You may not control the tunnel, its length, or its darkness, but you control your feet. Step by step, you can move toward the light, even if it feels impossibly far away. Of course, the idea of choice comes with a burden. It means you can no longer hide behind excuses. You can no longer blame the world, your upbringing, or the people around you for where you are. To embrace the power of choice is to accept accountability. And yes, that's a heavy load to carry, but it's also liberating. When you stop pointing fingers and start taking ownership of your decisions, you realize something extraordinary. The power to change your life has been within you all along. Choice is also what separates those who merely survive from those who truly live. It's what turns a setback into a stepping stone. When faced with failure, some people choose to wallow in self-pity, convincing themselves that they are victims of fate. Others, however, choose to see failure as a lesson, a necessary step on the path to success. The choice to learn, to grow, to persevere, these are what define the trajectory of a life. And the beauty of it all? Every moment offers a new opportunity to choose differently. The truth is, your circumstances are like a deck of cards dealt by life. Some people are given better hands, yes, but even the best cards mean nothing if the player lacks strategy, courage, or skill. Similarly, even the worst hand can win the game if played with wisdom and determination. Your choice is your strategy. It's how you navigate the game, regardless of what cards you hold. And here's the twist, the more you exercise your power of choice, the better you become at it. Over time, you learn to spot opportunities where others see only obstacles. You develop the strength to endure hardships that would break most people. In the end, it's not the hand you're dealt that defines you, it's how you choose to play it. When you strip away the noise, the distractions, and the excuses, what remains is a simple truth: your life is the sum of your choices. Each decision, no matter how small, builds upon the last, creating a chain reaction that shapes your future. Yes, circumstances can be harsh, unfair, even cruel, but they are not the final word. The final word is yours to speak, and it is spoken through the choices you make, one moment at a time. The way you see the world around you can either set you free or imprison you. It's not the circumstances themselves that bind you, it's how you perceive them that creates the chains. People often assume that their reality is fixed, unchangeable, an undeniable truth carved in stone. But what if reality is more flexible than it seems? What if the walls you think are closing in on you are merely illusions created by your own mind? Your perception acts as a lens, and through it, you define the boundaries of your life. When that lens is clouded by fear, doubt, or negativity, even the smallest obstacle appears insurmountable. Shift that perspective, however, and you begin to see possibilities where there once seemed to be none. It's fascinating how two people can face the exact same set of circumstances and yet emerge with entirely different outcomes. One sees failure as the end, while the other sees it as a beginning. One sees a dead end, while the other sees a detour. Why the difference? It's not the situation itself, it's how they choose to interpret it. Perception is a powerful force. It has the ability to turn pain into growth, adversity into strength, and limitations into opportunities. But this power can just as easily work against you if you're not mindful of how you're using it. Imagine you're standing in a room with no windows and only one door. The door is locked and you feel trapped. Your mind begins to spin stories about how you'll never escape, how unfair life is, how the odds are stacked against you. These stories become your reality, even though they're not true. What you fail to notice is the key lying just a few feet away, hidden in plain sight. You miss it because you're too focused on the problem to see the solution. This is the trap of perception. It convinces you that your situation is hopeless when in reality, it's your perspective that needs to change. The mind has a curious way of amplifying the negatives while downplaying the positives. It fixates on obstacles, making them appear larger than they are. It clings to past failures, using them as proof that success is out of reach. This distorted perception becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more you focus on what's wrong, the more wrong things seem to appear. Breaking free from this cycle requires a conscious effort to shift your focus. Instead of dwelling on what you lack, you must train yourself to see what you have. Instead of fixating on what's wrong, look for what's right, no matter how small it may seem. Perception is not just about what you see, it's about what you choose to look for. If you look for reasons to give up, you'll find them. But if you look for reasons to keep going, you'll find those too. The world doesn't change the lens through which you view it does. This shift is not easy. It requires courage to question your own assumptions and strength to let go of the stories you've told yourself for so long. But once you begin to see your circumstances in a new light, the transformation is undeniable. What once felt like a prison begins to look like a puzzle, a challenge to be solved, rather than a sentence to be endured. Think about the moments in life when you felt stuck, convinced that there was no way forward. What changed? Was it the situation or was it your perspective? Perhaps you found a new way of looking at things, a fresh angle that revealed possibilities you hadn't considered before. This is the power of perception. It can turn obstacles into stepping stones, problems into opportunities, and despair into hope. The circumstances didn't change your understanding of them, did? And in that shift, you found the strength to move forward. Resilience is the armor forged in the fires of adversity, a weapon that cannot be bought, inherited, or handed down. It is earned through struggle, crafted in the moments when life tests you beyond what you thought you could endure. In those moments, resilience becomes your most powerful ally. It is not the absence of pain or the ability to avoid hardship. It is the decision to face it, to rise above it, and to emerge stronger because of it. Life, after all, does not promise ease or comfort. It promises challenges, setbacks, and storms. Resilience is what allows you to navigate those storms, to find your way even when the path is obscured, and to keep moving forward when every step feels impossible. Resilience does not mean that you do not feel the weight of your struggles. On the contrary, it means you feel them fully, acknowledge them, and yet refuse to let them defeat you. It is the ability to hold yourself together when everything around you is falling apart. When the world feels heavy, resilience is the quiet strength that whispers, "Keep going." It is not loud or dramatic. It does not seek attention or applause. It simply endures, one moment at a time, one choice at a time. It is the belief that no matter how dark the night, dawn will come. There is a misconception that resilience is something you are born with, a trait that only a fortunate few possess. But this is far from the truth. Resilience is a skill, one that is built through experience and cultivated over time. Every challenge you face, every obstacle you overcome, is a lesson in resilience. It teaches you that you are stronger than you think, that you can survive more than you believed possible, and that within you lies an untapped well of strength waiting to be discovered. The beauty of resilience is that it grows with use. The more you rely on it, the stronger it becomes. At its core, resilience is about adaptability. It is not about resisting change or fighting against the inevitable. It is about learning to bend without breaking. Life is unpredictable, full of twists and turns that you cannot foresee or control. Resilience is what allows you to adjust, to pivot, and to find new ways forward when the old ones no longer work. It is the ability to see setbacks not as failures but as opportunities to learn and grow. It is the realization that every closed door leads to another one opening, if only you have the courage to keep searching. Resilience is not built in moments of comfort and ease. It is forged in the fires of difficulty, in the trials that push you to your limits and beyond. It is in those moments when you feel like giving up that resilience is born. It is the decision to stand back up after being knocked down, to try again when you have every reason to quit, and to believe in yourself even when doubt threatens to consume you. Resilience is not about being unbreakable, it is about being unyielding. It is about bending under the weight of life's challenges and then springing back stronger than before. When you cultivate resilience, you begin to see challenges differently. They are no longer insurmountable barriers, but opportunities to grow. You start to understand that the difficulties you face are not there to destroy you, but to prepare you, to shape you into the person you are meant to become. Resilience allows you to face the unknown with courage, to embrace uncertainty with grace, and to meet life's trials with unwavering determination. It is the quiet confidence that no matter what comes your way, you will find a way through. Resilience is not just a response to hardship, it is a way of life, a mindset that transforms obstacles into stepping stones and turns struggles into strength. The way you see your circumstances often determines their power over you. Reality as you experience it is not just shaped by facts, but by how you interpret those facts. What appears as an insurmountable mountain to one person may be seen as an exciting challenge by another. The truth is that perception is a filter through which you process the world, and it can either limit you or set you free. When you are stuck in a moment of despair or hopelessness, it is not always the situation itself that is holding you back. Often, It is the way you are looking at it. What if your circumstances, no matter how bleak, could be reimagined not as barriers but as opportunities for growth and transformation? The problem with perception is that it often masquerades as reality. When you convince yourself that your current struggles define your future, you trap yourself in a mental cage of your own making. It is not the cage that is real. It is the belief that you cannot escape it. This belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more you dwell on the limitations of your circumstances, the more those limitations grow in your mind until they seem unshakable. But perception is not fixed. It is malleable, subject to change if you are willing to challenge the narrative you've been telling yourself. Consider how often your mind jumps to conclusions based on incomplete information. A failed attempt becomes a permanent failure. A moment of rejection becomes a sign that you are unworthy. A difficult phase in life feels like an unending sentence. These conclusions are not based on reality, they are based on fear and doubt. Perception, when left unchecked, becomes the lens that magnifies problems and minimizes possibilities. But when you start to question that lens, you begin to see that the reality you've accepted is not the only one available to you. There is always another way to look at things, another angle that can change the story entirely. Shifting your perception is not about ignoring the difficulties you face. It is not about pretending that pain, struggle, or failure do not exist. It is about choosing to see beyond them, to recognize that no single moment or situation can define your entire life. It is about understanding that what seems permanent is often temporary, and that the way you interpret your experiences shapes the outcome more than the experiences themselves. The power lies in your ability to see through the fog of negativity and find the light of possibility. When you change your perception, you also change your potential. Suddenly, the resources and opportunities that were invisible to you become clear. Solutions begin to emerge from places you never thought to look. Challenges that once seemed overwhelming start to feel manageable. This shift does not happen because the world changes, it happens because your view of the world changes. The same set of circumstances can lead to vastly different outcomes depending on how you choose to perceive them. This is why perception is so powerful. It is the foundation on which all action is built. Perception is not passive, it is active. It is a choice you make every single day, whether consciously or unconsciously. It is the decision to see setbacks as lessons, to view failures as stepping stones, and to approach challenges with curiosity instead of fear. It is not always easy to make this choice, especially when life feels heavy and unforgiving. But the more you practice shifting your perspective, the more natural it becomes. Over time, you begin to see your circumstances not as the end of the road, but as part of a larger journey. You start to recognize that what appears to be an obstacle is often an invitation to grow, to adapt, and to become stronger. The beauty of perception is that it puts the power back in your hands. No matter how difficult your circumstances, you always have control over how you choose to interpret them. This control is not trivial, it is transformative. It allows you to break free from the limitations you once thought were unchangeable. It enables you to rewrite the narrative of your life in a way that empowers you rather than holds you back. When you understand the role perception plays in shaping your reality, you begin to see that even the most daunting challenges contain within them the seeds of possibility. Becoming the master of your fate is not about controlling every detail of your life or ensuring that nothing ever goes wrong. It is about taking ownership of your journey, even when the road is unpredictable and full of unexpected twists. At its core, mastering your fate is a declaration, a decision to stop being a passive participant in your own life and to start shaping it with intention. It is the understanding that while you cannot control everything that happens to you, you can always control how you respond. That response, in turn, determines the trajectory of your life far more than the events themselves ever could. Taking charge of your fate begins with the realization that you are not powerless. Far too often, people fall into the trap of believing that their circumstances define them, that they are victims of fate, tossed around by forces beyond their control. But this belief is a lie, a comforting lie, perhaps, because it absolves you of responsibility. Yet it is a lie nonetheless. The truth is that no matter how difficult or unfair your circumstances may be, you always have the power to choose your next move. You may not be able to rewrite the past, but you can decide how you will write the next chapter. Mastering your fate requires courage, the courage to face uncomfortable truths about yourself and your situation. It requires the willingness to take risks, to step into the unknown, and to embrace the possibility of failure. Many people shy away from this because it is easier to remain in the comfort of what is familiar, even if it is limiting or painful. But growth never comes from comfort. It comes from challenge, from stepping outside of your comfort zone and daring to pursue something greater. To be the master of your fate is to be willing to venture into uncharted territory, knowing that uncertainty is not something to fear, but something to embrace. Another key aspect of mastering your fate is discipline. It is not enough to dream or to set goals, you must also take consistent action toward those goals, no matter how small or insignificant those actions may seem. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It is the daily commitment to your vision, even when progress feels slow, even when the odds seem stacked against you. Discipline is not about perfection, it is about persistence. It is about showing up for yourself every day and refusing to let excuses or distractions derail you. To master your fate, you must also cultivate resilience. Life will not always go according to plan. You will face setbacks, disappointments, and failures. But these are not reasons to give up, they are opportunities to learn and grow. Resilience is what allows you to bounce back from adversity and to keep moving forward, even when the path ahead is unclear. It is the ability to see failure not as the end, but as a stepping stone to something greater. Resilience is not something you are born with, it is something you build through experience, through every challenge you overcome and every obstacle you face. Finally, mastering your fate requires vision, the ability to see beyond your current circumstances and to imagine a future that is greater than your present. Vision is what fuels your determination and keeps you focused on your goals, even when the journey is difficult. It is the ability to hold onto your dreams and to work toward them, even when the world tells you they are impossible. Vision is not about waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect conditions. It is about starting where you are with what you have and trusting that the path will unfold as you take each step. So tell me, what's stronger, your will or your excuses? Look in the mirror tonight and ask yourself, am I a product of my surroundings, or am I the one who shapes them? This is your moment. This is your time to rise, to break free, and to become the person you were always meant to be. Now, here's the twist: your circumstances were never meant to define you, they were meant to refine you. So will you let the fire of life forge you into something unbreakable? Or will you let it consume you? Comment below and tell me, are you ready to own your story?